Hello students, it's Mr. Weaver, and right now I'm going to share a story with you. A story that I am creating off the top of my head from Lesson 6 of Vocabulary. And the reason I'm doing this is just so you can hear these words in context used in a somewhat believable way. I hope that you enjoyed the story. I'm just kind of making it up. And we're going to say that this is a story about a man who has discovered that he is following a traitor. Once upon a time, there was a man named Jim. Jim was the kind of guy who likes to please people in order to get ahead in life. And in this case, he was pleasing a political leader. Jim thought that there was a lot of credence in the political beliefs of this leader. He followed him in all parts of his political platform. And in so doing, he would run errands for this political leader. And on one particular day, the political leader gave him a pamphlet and said, "Please collate this for me." To collate means to arrange in the proper order, especially documents. Now, this Jim had a lot of credence or a lot of belief or trust in this political candidate. And he would follow him wherever he went. He followed the candidate when he would go out on the campaign trail. The candidate was a connoisseur of fine wine and cheeses, so he would follow him to different wine tastings and different places where they sold cheese in order to just kind of help him in his pursuit. By the way, a connoisseur is an expert in matters of culture, food, or wine. But in this particular case, as he was making copies of this pamphlet, he saw something in the pamphlet that was an enigma, something that puzzled him. An enigma is a mystery, something inexplicable. This political candidate had been very genteel in his demeanor, genteel meaning respectable. But in this pamphlet, he was getting very, very acrid and wicked and full of animosity toward the opposing people. Now, Jim realized that this was a little bit off from the way that this candidate had traditionally acted. And so, in his very officious way, he went into his office and said, "Hey, political leader, can I get you some coffee?" Officious meaning eager to deliver unasked for, unwanted help. So he was just trying to help him get his coffee filled. And while he was in there, he smelled something very fetid in the office, something that smelled dead. Fetid means having a bad odor. Now, the political leader was in his normal jaunty mood, said, "Oh, sure, I would like some more coffee in my coffee cup." Jaunty meaning having a buoyant, self-confident air. But at that moment, Jim, smelling that fetid smell, realized that maybe he was condoning something that was not good. Condoning means to forgive or overlook an offense. Jim took the coffee cup and went into the other room. And instead of normally having all that energy, he felt a strange torpor coming over him. A torpor is a state of sluggish mental or physical activity, a state of not caring. He had been so enthralled to help this political candidate. He considered himself just a mere dilettante when it came to how to treat people, and so he was learning from this candidate. By the way, to feel enthralled means to be captivated, as though spellbound. He had been enthralled by this candidate, and he was just dabbling to be a dilettante. Dilettante is one who merely dabbles in an art or science. He was a dilettante in political science. But with the smell and what was written on this pamphlet, he realized that he was supporting a venal person. Venal meaning capable of betraying trust, especially if bribed. It was very nuanced in the pamphlet, but what the candidate was doing, what the leader was doing, was promoting evil. Nuanced meaning a slight or subtle degree of difference. Not only was he promoting evil, but he was actually part of a cult. A cult is an organized group of people with an obsessive devotion to a person or set of principles. In this case, it was a political cult. Well, Jim filled the coffee cup and he went back to his leader and said, "Here's your coffee, but I noticed that you wrote some things that weren't true in that pamphlet. Was that a mistake?" Well, the political candidate smiled. And he said, "Well, thank you for the coffee. And here, I have some Kool-Aid for you. Drink some Kool-Aid." Jim was a little puzzled. It was a bit of an enigma that he would be offered Kool-Aid. Jim took a drink of the Kool-Aid, and said, "Thank you, political leader." Suddenly things got a little bit blurry, and Jim passed out. End of the story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you were able to learn some of these vocabulary words that are very common words, and you will hear and see them, and hopefully you'll be able to use them in your own lexicon, your own vocabulary. So have a great day, and keep it up with the vocabulary. Study these words hard, not only to do well on the quiz, but to use them in life. Goodbye.